we're going to talk a little bit about why the need to go through boundary changes. So we've got a lot of things happening in September of 2020. As you know, we've got a large high school being built on the west end of town. That will be open for the 2020-2021 school year, so September of 2020. And progress is going great. They are at least on schedule, if not ahead of schedule. So then the existing Badger Ridge Middle School and Core Knowledge Charter School, they are moving to this building, the main building of the high school campus. So they're going to occupy this space. And then Sugar Creek Elementary School, the current Sugar Creek, is moving to the current Badger Ridge. New Century Charter School and the Verona Area International School are moving to the K Wing. So for those of you who may not be familiar with it, so the high school campus is actually two buildings. This is the main building. Then there's a smaller building just to our east. That is known as the K Wing. So VAIS and New Century are moving into that space. And this is all happening prior to the start of the school year, September of 2020. So we've got a lot of things that will be going on. So again, why do we need to look at boundary changes? The last time that we did a boundary change was when we opened Glacier Edge Elementary School. And so Glacier Edge Elementary School came about as a result of increasing enrollment, and the schools that were in existence were above capacity. And so we are facing that same issue today. And with all the housing growth that has happened, even with the downturn in 2008, we're at a point where we needed to create some relief in terms of capacity for the students that are coming into our schools. If you look at the graph on the right, so that was the third Friday in September of 2018, so that's our official count day, a little north of 500. So if we were to do nothing with the attendance area boundaries, given the projections that we had, Mark will talk about that, then we would project by 10 years from now, roughly, that it would be twice the number of children. Obviously, that's not doable. And the new Sugar Creek Elementary School, which is the current Badger Ridge, if we didn't do anything, they would have quite a few empty classrooms. And Savannah Oaks would be approaching capacity, and arguably is approaching capacity now, and the new Badger Ridge, which is this building shared with Core Knowledge, would have empty classrooms. So one of the criteria that you'll see here is efficient utilization of space. It's an expectation that if you have classrooms that you are utilizing them to the extent possible. Otherwise, it's not an efficient use of taxpayer-supported facilities. So how did we start this? It actually started about a year ago. It actually started shortly after the referendum passed, because the contemplation was, this referendum passes, and of course we're going to have to do boundary changes for both elementary and middle schools. So that was 2 years ago, roughly now, in early April. So that was when the first contemplation was that we have to go through boundary changes. So then in the summer of 2018, the board established a criteria, which is in front of you, and we're going to talk about that very shortly. And they also authorized the appointment of what is known as AC, Attendance Area Advisory Committee. And it's about 25 people that have been attending since October. So they have really put in a tremendous amount of time, effort, and energy, and have done a great job. And so the three options that you'll see before you tonight came about as a result of all the conversations that we've had in that committee. So actually, the bullet number 3 is incorrect. We actually started in about mid-October and have gone through March, and we have one more meeting left a week from tomorrow before the recommendations come to the board. And the board is set to decide on this summer. My timeline ideally would be at end of June. I don't know if that's going to match up because it may be later in the summer. But the boundary determination has a tremendous impact downstream. Now, these boundary changes are not in effect for next school year. I want to underline that. They will not go in effect until the fall of 2020. However, What has to happen after the boundary changes are done is we have to determine our start and stop times, because they're going to have to change, hopefully not too much. One of the reasons they have to change is because of the synergy that we have between Badger, Core, and the high school all getting out at the same time. That's a bus efficiency. So that's not going to be able to happen because we don't have that same grade configuration. High school is far enough away from here where we can't just say it'll be 5 minutes and they'll be up there. Even though it isn't that far, it's longer than 5 minutes. So we're going to have to refigure that. We're going to have to look at all of our busing routes and actually determine what they are. And then if the board decides to entertain grandfathering, and I don't know if they will or won't, that's another consideration to weigh in there. So there's a lot of things that have to take place after the boundary changes are made.